Hello, everybody, and welcome to Plaid Stallion's Toy Ventures. This is another episode where we're going to be unboxing some knockoffs I picked up, but this is a special themed episode because this is a Kung Fu mystery knockoff box. Everything in here is related to martial arts. Technically, they're not even really knockoffs because I'm not sure what they're copying. I guess martial arts movies, but nobody owns the trademark on somebody in a karate gi. Now, I just want to give a little bit of my personal backstory because I have no backstory on these action figures. I've been a lifelong fan of martial arts, like a lot of Gen X kids. I was, born and raised on reruns of Kung Fu and Kung Fu movies that showed regularly on Channel 29 and Channel 79 when I was growing up. And it actually led me to a life of pursuing martial arts. I've made friends for life out of this, and it changed a lot of my habits and the way I thought, and I've always been kind of grateful to the disciplines. So, and of course, I think I've seen probably 500 old Kung Fu movies at this point. I own a ton of them. I love them. So I do try to collect karate gis and outfits for action figures. They were the staple back then, G.I. Joe had one, Action Jackson had one, Big Jim, and I just really like this part of pop culture. So this package is super exciting to me, and I hope it is to you as well. I'm not going to keep blathering on. Let's just get on with the show and open her up, shall we? Our first subject is Karate Masters. And I absolutely love this artwork on the card of another guy kicking one guy in the face, which is going to be a running trend. This figure is a knockoff of G.I. Joe that's called Dynaman. And Dynaman's very popular in Europe and has some really neat outfits. I believe it's by a company called Barter. And if you Google Dynaman, you won't find a lot of information. Somewhere I have a catalog. There was Dynaman and Dynagirl. They are 12-inch figures. And if he looks familiar to you, it's because I've had another Dynaman KO in the past, and that was a Tough Guy from an unboxing, and I'll put them side by side. You can see that there. This is a really neat figure. I could not find if Dynaman has a karate gi outfit in his assortment. I do kind of think he does. I mean, it was kind of a standard in 1970s. So I assume that this might be the Dynaman Kung Fu outfit or karate outfit. And of course, he's a black belt. This is an awesome figure, and I absolutely love this guy. But there's much more. Our next contestant is Spy Girl. And I really like this header card. I'm assuming it's stolen from a UK children's book or something like that. It sure looks familiar. This guy kind of looks like Patrick McNee, but I really can't tell if this is supposed to be Tara King. But, it's just a really imaginative-looking card that is, of course, stolen. It is, of course, a 12-inch fashion doll Barbie knockoff clone wearing just the karate, or I guess the judo gi. This looks like a judo jacket. And I figured out where this comes from. This is leftover from the Gilbert James Bond line. This is what Odd Job wore. I do believe Odd Job came with pants. And I'll put you side by side with this Odd Job on a blow-molded body that I have wearing that exact same karate gi. It is really a nicely tailored piece of material. It's kind of funny. It's the nicest thing about this piece. The doll itself is rather cheap, and I don't know how many high kicks she should do dressed like this. I would love to take her out and just see if that's got a Gilbert label in the clothing, but I probably never will. I'll just have to, live with the curiosity. This is a really welcome thing. I don't get a lot of female figures, and I really like her, but my absolute favorite is coming up next. Just wanted to take a moment to mention that my newest book, Knockoffs, Totally Unauthorized Action Figures, is now available. It's a celebration of the bootleg action figure over the decades. Knockoffs is loaded with all your favorite brands and characters if they came from the Bizarro universe. Hundreds of color photographs. This 132-page book also talks about the burgeoning bootleg toy art scene with interviews and portfolios of some of the top artists in the field. If you liked Rack Toys or Toy Ventures magazine, please consider checking out my new book. Links to my shop are in the description. Thanks for watching. I present you folks with Black Belt Brawlers. I love this header card probably the most just because it's got a great depiction on it. I wonder where they stole it from, probably a martial arts magazine. The figure itself is a really interesting Mego curiosity. The head is from the Mego Lion Rock World War II figures. I believe this character was the Chinese gorilla. Now, these figures had a long history of being knocked off. After Mego went under, these molds were put to use by everyone, you know. There are so many different variations of it. You could have an entire hobby just collecting these things. Mego sold them internationally for years. They were not big in the United States. But come the 80s, after Mego's expiration, they started showing up on all kinds of different cards and packaging, sometimes even for companies like Fleetwood. So this is interesting that it's another appearance of these figures, except this one is on a very cheap blow-molded body. These bodies started to come into use around the 1980s, and in the early 90s, the figures were barely recognizable from their Mego counterparts. I really do love the karate outfit. To my knowledge, there is no such thing for the Lion Rock series, but what this looks like is the Chinese gorilla outfit, but in white. So they use the same pattern, because it's weird that there's collars on the gi. And if you notice on the card, he's attacking what looks like a guy with a really poorly drawn blonde beard. And that's a weird attention to detail. And that is because he has an opponent. And that is another Lion Rock World War II figure. This is the U-boat commander, I believe. But now he is also wearing the same outfit. So you'd have to actually buy both these guys and get them to fight, which I just absolutely love. These guys are really special to me. I think they're really neat. And what a neat little Mego oddity they are. Just a little piece of Lion Rock history. You can read more up on the Lion Rock World War II line on the Mego Museum. One of these days I will do a vintage Mego about it. And there's a really fun Facebook group for it as well. I highly recommend you check it out if you have any interest. So thank you, folks, for joining me for my mystery Kung Fu knockoff box. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tell me which ones your favorites are. I would love to know in the comments below. You can also hit me up at our Facebook group, Mego Knockoff Headquarters, where I will be showcasing some photos of this and hopefully discussing it with the group there. Awesome bunch of folks, and some really neat stuff pops up all the time. If you are new to this, I hope you'll consider hitting like and subscribe. I do this every week. Thanks again, and until next time, be well and talk toys, not other people. Cheers.